So I graduated high school, and my mom was like, either move out or go to a community college. And I didn't have enough money to move out, but I hated school with a passion. But she forced me to go to community college. And that was the worst thing ever. Like that made me hate life. Like borderline suicidal. I just can't stand like having to just sit there and listen to this dumb stuff and listen to some teacher read out a book. So what I did was I would act like I was going to community college, but I would just work on videos in my car and edit and stuff like that. I had straight zeros. And so now the clock had started because once my mom found out, I was screwed.
Were you aware of that? Like, that you're running a risk?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I would act like I was going to college that whole time, but I wasn't. And I didn't have enough money to move out. And that was kind of when I was just like 15 hours a day, all in. I was like, I'm fucked if this doesn't work. And I had some videos pop off. I couldn't tell you which ones, but I had a month where I made 20 grand because I just had some videos just do really, really well. And then I came home and I was like, I haven't been going to college, and I moved out the next day. But I have, hyper obsession, and I love this. And, you give it enough time, anyone can solve it.
Basically, I remember thinking like every day back then, like, I'm never gonna be a YouTuber, but I really want to be a YouTuber. And it just like, after like year after year after year after year after year after year, like literally it just like, this is never gonna happen, but I'm still gonna try. And you know what I mean? I just remember like every night being like, is it ever gonna happen?
You were making no money, you had very little audience, but you still stuck with it. And I think like your first video that broke 1 million, that seemed foreshadowing. Like you made 1,000 videos of Minecraft and 1,000 experimental videos. None really found traction. And then you did this one that was a little bit about your personality, a lot about a stunt.
And well, part of it too is I literally didn't even have a camera back then. Like I had a terrible laptop because I used to make $1 a day, and I didn't even have a microphone, so I had to save up for months to buy a microphone. So that's why my first videos are literally recorded with the built-in like microphone on my laptop. And then I got a microphone, then I got a computer, and then I got an iPhone, which then, because I had a Windows phone, which only recorded like 480, I couldn't record with that. So once I got an iPhone, after years of like all this stuff, then I started recording myself, and I moved a little bit away from gaming. And then I was able to buy a camera, but I got like 200,000 subscribers with like an iPhone 5, recording in 30 FPS, 720p.
You hear that?
And and that's why like I tell people all the time, start a channel, they're like, I can't afford it. And they have like literally like the new iPhone, and people used to always complain about the quality, and I was just like, okay, well, I can't do anything. I need my next paycheck to buy something.
You don't feel like you're going crazy when you're...
Well, that was a different time. That was the hardest one, and I just really wanted it. I dropped out of college, I wasn't really making much, so I was like, I knew it would go viral, and I just kind of had to like, just put in the hours, My mindset, if you want to know how I always thought, I just always saw it as, I just reinvest everything I make. Like literally up till a few months ago, every time I got a paycheck, that was just like the month's budget. So like I said, I saved up $1 a day to buy a microphone. When I made a few $1,000s, I just spent a few $1,000s. When I made $10,000, I just spent 10. So it's like, as I made more money, I was just like, all right, well now I want to spend it on videos somehow. That was just my mindset. My overarching goal in life is to make a lot of money, and then before I die, give it away. It's what I want to do. Save that?
No, let's talk about money.
Okay. Yeah. No, I really do like helping people. Like I don't have a mansion or a nice car or anything like that. I'd rather spend it doing things like that.
I think what's interesting though is like, obviously you call yourself obsessed.
Yeah.
Other people you said when you were younger called you
Imagine
obsessed.
spending 10 years of your life only thinking about one thing every waking hour of the day.
You mentioned earlier that people were like, you don't have a life.
Yeah.
Right? But we've been here, we spent all day with you yesterday. Behind the scenes, I feel like you do have a life. Like your life is YouTube.
The thing is like, you're an idiot until you're successful. Then you're smart, whatever, you know what I mean? So it's just, at some point you cross that tipping point and people go from judging you and being like, you're too obsessed with your freak, blah, 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 to like, oh, like, whoa, congrats, look at you. You hire people and provide jobs. Like, you're cool, good job, you know what I mean? And it's
really
like kind of blurry where that line changes.
Like, people would have bet $1 million that I wouldn't be a YouTuber. You know, it makes no sense. But I just like, I have, hyper obsession, and I love this. And, you give it enough time, anyone can solve it.
Well, there's a lesson in that for people, really. Like, to just, if you do have a hyper obsession to something, there's a lot of people that think that because they're bad at school or because they're not interested in school, that they're destined to be a loser.
Yeah.
And that's not true. You can, the problem is school is too rigid. Like regular public school system, sit down, underpaid teacher, disinterested, not really connected with the work. You're not connected with it. You just can't wait to go home and do what you like to do.
Exactly.
And you get this thought in your head like, oh my God, I'm going to be a loser.
Well, and you take it a step further, because I thought, especially if you're like extremely passionate about something at a young age, where most kids are, then it's more exacerbated that it's like, you know, I didn't talk to anyone. I hardly had any friends because I was so obsessed with YouTube. As back then, just no one cared. So it's like, I thought I was just like, just didn't even know how to speak. Like literally, I just couldn't hold a conversation with a single person because people would just tell me all you talk about is YouTube, and I would try to talk about something else. But back then I was so hyper obsessed that I literally just didn't know how to. Everything from like learning how to editing, the pacing of the videos, like ideas, what's going viral, what's trending, what's hot. Especially back then, I had no idea what worked. I mean, I had to like self-teach myself everything, even, you know, frame rate on cameras, coloring in the video, just stuff like that. Most of my growth came actually after I graduated high school. Basically what I did was I somehow found these other like 4 lunatics. 3 of us were college dropouts, 1 was a high school dropout, and 1, I don't know, he just like quit his job. We all were super small YouTubers, and we basically talked every day for 1,000 days in a row and did nothing but just like hyper study, like what makes a good video, what makes a good thumbnail, what's good pacing, like how to go viral. And we just call it like daily masterminds. We would just get on Skype every morning, and like some days like I'd get on Skype at 7 a.m. and I'd be in the call until like 10 p.m. and then I'd go to bed, I'd wake up and I'd do it again. And you know, we'd do things like just take 1,000 thumbnails and see if like there's a correlation to the brightness of the thumbnail to how many views you got, or like, you know, like videos that get over 10 million views is like how often do they cut the camera angles, or like things like that.
Really? So you micro-analyzed
everything.
Really?
Yeah, just, I mean, for like, we were very religious about it, and so that's where most of my knowledge came from, is I just surround myself with these lunatics, and just every day, like, we didn't do anything, we had no life.
But everybody had sort of a similar vision.
Yeah, exactly. And so we all had like 10, 20,000 subscribers when we met. And by the time we stopped talking, we all had millions of subscribers. And we all hit 1 million subscribers like within a month. It's crazy, because it's like, if you envision a world where you're trying to be great at something, and it's just like you learning and fucking up and learning from your mistakes.
Do you ever feel, you talked about like people always suggested that maybe you would get burnt out on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel burnt out? Like, are there times where you feel like
I think
tired?
My definition might be different than others. You know, like some people are like, I'm burnt down, screw this, I'm done. You know, like never at that point. But yeah, like if I'm going like, you know, I go from time I get up to time I go to bed like 3 days in a row, I'll be like, okay, like kind of want to like take half a day off and like chill, or like I'll feel like coming and stuff like that. But this is what I'm doing to the day I die. I don't care. Like, I love this more than anything. Nothing's ever brought me a fraction of the joy.
Do you ever worry about your mental health? Did you take steps to protect it, to like for the long run, to make sure you have the mental strength to go on?
Yes. Weirdly enough, the best thing for my mental health was giving into my nature to work. And the most depressed I get is when I try to restrict it. And like, I don't work weekends, or I don't work this day. What's best for me is just to work when I feel like working, and then just not work when I don't, like, and just have no constraints, because there are just some nights where I don't want to sleep, and for whatever reason I feel compelled to go all night. Whatever, like, just do it, you know, do whatever you want, is what I tell my like working brain, and I just give into it, and I feel that's where I feel the happiest. And then you know, it's typically like, and when I'm really in the grind mode, it'll be like 7 or 8 days just nonstop going, and then it's like I'll realize like, oh, I need some recharge time, and then go binge a season of anime. Yeah, but listen to your, but that's the thing. Like, people will tell you don't work weekends, or don't do this, or don't work past this, or blah blah. Give you all these constraints. But for me, and it's unconventional, I just give into it.